Hi everyone, it's Elise and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you. I hope you stick around and I hope that we become friends. This week is part 2 of what I've learned from my mom during our travels, and we're going to be talking about dining and eating with your parent or grandparent. So I have a couple of things, notes again, about things we've learned from our mom. So again, this is for people who may not live with their parent or grandparent and who are going on vacation with them to a Disney park or anywhere, and for people who are more in their older elderly years and not somebody that's really like quite young and youthful or who's in really good health. This is for people who may be struggling with different issues. So these are just a few things to kind of watch out for when you're going with a parent or grandparent who may have issues with their eating, and just things to kind of keep an eye out for and to help them with. So first off, I want to talk about some of the eating problems that they may have. And chewing, for instance, chewing may be difficult for them because either they're not feeling good or the food may be too tough. Because they may be wearing dentures, that they may not be fitting properly, so chewing may be difficult for them. Also, with this, you may want to get foods that are more suitable, the right texture for them, that might be easier for them to eat. So softer foods, chopped foods. You may want to ask if they can chop up the food for them to make it a little easier for them to eat, or of course, if they have mobility problems in their hands, maybe cut it up for them so it's a smaller piece and easier for them to chew. They may be a little pickier in their eating because the taste may not be as good to them. And this is done because their taste buds, as they get older, start to deteriorate a little bit. So they can't taste foods quite as easily as they might have in the past. So it's good to maybe get things that are very savory, have a lot of taste to them. But you also have to be cautious about that because you don't want to get something that has way too much sodium for them, especially if they have issues with retaining fluids, such as if they have congestive heart failure, that you really don't want to deal with them having too much sodium in their seasonings. So you may want to, again, ask the staff, ask them if they can either recommend a low sodium meal or make it low sodium. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. Okay, so then also, one thing that you may have to watch out for is a lot of elderly people get what's called dry mouth. And as they get older, they don't produce as much saliva, and so they get a dry mouth, which makes it harder for them to eat, which also results into poor digestion when they don't produce enough saliva, which also doesn't give them as much fluids in their stomach to help digest their food. So one thing that you can do to help that is to give them some water, have them drink some water before they start to eat, which usually restaurants will give you water if they don't ask for some water that they can drink beforehand. Some people recommend eating pickles before you eat, or having lemon slices just to help the mouth salivate more, which will help with the digestion. Another thing that you may want to watch for is poor appetite. Now, I know a lot of times when we've gone with our mom, she may not have as big an appetite because of the travel itself, with all the traveling, you know, on the plane and getting into the room and getting settled. That can cause her not to have a good appetite. Some other things that might cause a poor appetite is illness, stomach issues, again because of the dry mouth incident. Again, if they may not have a good appetite because their dentures, again, are not fitting properly, it's harder for them to chew, so they don't want to eat as much. Also, the side effects of the medication that they're taking may also cause them to have a poor appetite. And you have to kind of watch it because some medications you need to take with food, some you need to wait before you eat food. But a lot of side effects does cause them, especially if they're on an antibiotic. I know when my mom's been on antibiotics after having pneumonia or whatever, it does decrease her appetite, and it also makes the food not taste as good, so that may affect a lot of their eating as well. Another reason why their appetite may be poor is just their mental and emotional well-being. You know, if they're having a hard day, if they're really stressed. I know a lot of times my mom, especially this last time we went on a trip, she got very stressed about the people and not being able to move around as well as she used to. Really start stressing her out, and so that can also cause poor appetite. So one thing that you can do to help them to keep their appetite going is to carry some snacks with you. A lot of times you carry snacks for yourself, for your children. It's also good to maybe carry some snacks for your parent or grandparent as well. Also, another thing to help with their appetite is instead of having just one big meal, you can have smaller meals throughout the day. I know when you're going on a Disney trip, that's not ideal because you usually do plan at least one big meal during the day on your trip. But if you can do it, like at least again, bringing snacks helps. And another thing you can do is if you have a chance to like go to a grocery store, or like you might find it in the little eating cafes or whatever at your hotel, is they might have some snacks like cheese, like the cheese and nuts that you can keep in the room so they can munch on that. That's what we usually do, is we find little snacks like that our mom can just kind of chew on when we get back to the room, which helps a lot as well, especially when we come back during the day to kind of rest up before we go back out for the evening. Another thing you may want to remember when going on a trip with your parent or grandparent when it comes to eating and dining is to make sure you know what their dietary needs are, because sometimes you may not know if they are diabetic, if they have congestive heart failure, unless you are in constant contact with them. You may not know exactly what their dietary needs are. So you may just want to keep that in mind when you're ordering, that they are ordering what they're supposed to. And again, don't be afraid to talk to your wait staff, your server, about their dietary needs. If they're allergic to something, if they need something that's low sodium, it's always good to let the server know. Then they can prepare the food according to your needs. Let me read for you what it says in the Disney Park website about the dietary needs. Many Disney restaurants now offer allergy-friendly menus to address these food intolerances, and many are able to accommodate lifestyle requests as well, including low-fat, low-sodium, no sugar added, and vegetarian options, often with no advance arrangements. Guests with food allergies should discuss their dietary requirements with their server upon arrival at the restaurant. Guests also have the opportunity to consult with a chef or special diet-trained cast member if desired. To recap on things to look for when dining with your parent or grandparent, there's the eating problems with chewing because of maybe dentures, or just things are just too hard to eat. The reduce taste to make sure that what you are getting is palatable, but not have too much sodium on it. Watch out for dry mouth. Maybe make sure that your parent or grandparent drinks a little water before they eat, so their mouth is salivating, which helps the stomach, which helps with poor digestion. And then, and watch out for things that might cause poor appetite, such as illness, stomach issues, side effects of the medication, and poor mental or emotional well-being. And make sure that you have a good breakfast, a good lunch, a good dinner, and don't hesitate to ask the server to accommodate whatever dietary needs that you may need for your parent or grandparent, or even yourself, because they are more than happy to do it for you. So anyway, that's it. If you want to watch part 1, I will click a link up here that you can watch that. I hope you will come back for part 3, which will be about transportation throughout the parks, scooters and wheelchairs, and just getting from here and there. If you have any comments, like experiences of eating and dining with your parent or grandparent, please comment below. I'd love to hear your experiences and what you guys have done to accommodate with their situation. So anyway, hope you'll subscribe and follow me, and come back next week, and I will see you then. Have a great week. Bye.